afternoon again, everyone. And okay, let me just begin by asking every panelist. So I think maybe just follow the order of ladies first. So Dr. Kwong have a chance to answer this. So basically, the question is that please introduce yourself and describe your roles in the enterprise in the context of enterprise architecture, and how the enterprise architecture itself, I think, or by having the enterprise architecture, it can help to cushion the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to our organization. Over to you, Dr. Kwong. And after that, I think followed by Dave and then Malik. I think you're muted, Dr. Kwong.
Okay, I have just given my presentation, so I have briefly introduced myself, so I would not spend time introducing myself, right? Yeah. So your second question is about COVID-19, right, Aaron?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So
help to cushion the COVID-19 impact.
So how the EA actually cushion the COVID-19 impact, right? At least in the Singapore situation, when I talk to the business leader, everybody is affected by the COVID-19. Then for those organizations, if they are ahead of the digitization, then they have less of the problem. If they are not in the space of digitization, they need faster time to market, and they need a very good, a planning tool. And in my opinion, EA is a very good planning tool for them to actually start the digitization journey. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kwong. Dave, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Dave Chen, and Vice President, Emerging Technologies of Hong Kong Computer Society. Actually, I'm also the head of IT of a semi-government body in Hong Kong. Our major business is to organize physical events like exhibitions, conferences. But due to the pandemic, without overseas buyers and exhibitors coming in Hong Kong, we are forced to suspend our physical events for more than a year. And we have to find a way out by setting up virtual events, just like this time. In the BITAS, we also organize virtual events, same as my company. We do it very quickly. And enterprise architecture plays a crucial role, as we know all the IT capabilities well, in terms of business and technology architecture. So we quickly build our new capabilities such as AI for the business matching functions, live streaming facilities, VR, virtual booths, etc. They are all happening in just few months. EA helps a lot. Amazing journey.
Right. Thank you so much, Dave. Okay, over to you, Malik.
Yeah, hi everybody, good morning. My name is Malik Murad Ali. I'm the head of, I'm the BICOM chair actually for CIO chapter in Malaysia. Besides that, in my professional life, I'm also the head of IT for Maidin. We are a chain of retail, supermarkets, hypermarkets, and we manage about 27 malls. So COVID really hit us hard. Suddenly, supermarkets and everything, they had to get less people coming in. They have to follow very strict SOPs, right? Where architecture really helped us a lot was when we actually had to put a lot of our employees suddenly couldn't work in some of our offices, or even couldn't work in our distribution centers, and they had to work remotely. Having a good architecture really helped. Able to go back, looking at the tools and say, you know what, we can manage it, right? That made a big difference and allowed us to do our business. Not as well, because a lot of people were locked down, but at least something.
Right, thank you so much, Malik. I think the first question, I think the introduction is like the ice breaking, right? So it actually reminded me on the what in 2014, Gartner made a prediction that by 2025, that means it's like now it's about 4 years to go, that every organization survive by the time should have the architecture, because basically architecture is knowing what you have and you do a stock taking, right? Because without that, then you can't transform. You don't know what to transform. You just become the headless chicken. I think now you have listened so-called just the surveys on the situation or the environment that the leaders are in, and they managed to so-called storm this COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. So let me continue with the next question. I think for Dr. Kwong. Can you please share with us on your personal experience? I think we know you as a IT leaders. I think is the public figure in Singapore, right? So in managing business and technology 10 years ago, right? So if you rewind back, now it's 2021, so it's like -10 is, in the year 2000.
2010. Yeah, so
2010 or yeah, maybe earlier, right? What do you think the digital so-called leaders or the IT leaders should do differently? Because I don't think they can practice whatever they have, the same way 10 years ago and today, right? What are your highlight, your insight on this, Dr. Kong?
okay, we are talking about 10 years ago, right? Yeah. Maybe I share my experience when I first joined NTUC, the National Trade Union Congress in 2008. It's about 12 years ago, right? The former labor chief, Mr. Lim Swee Se, actually assigned me a project, right? Assigned me a transformation project. So that time I proposed to him, you give me 9 months to do a study. Okay, so the study actually is really like a planning, but whether using EA or not is a different story, right? So I asked him, you give me 9 months to do a study, 9 months or 1 year. He said, no, you don't have that 9 months or 1 year to do the study. But yet I have to go through a transformation, journey, transforming the labor movement operation, right? And also, bring all the services into the online, into the e-services, right? Yeah. And I bargained with him. I managed, to have about few months of planning, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, then I got in the EA team, right, to do some kind of high-level planning. And I think Aaron, you also was involved in one of the projects, right, under the NTUC. When they come to me, they want to do some kind of MIS, the Management Information System. And I told the CEO, no, you cannot just do a MIS, just going to do an IT system for MIS. You need to do all the planning. I also told them that, you have to do a EA study. I think you was involved in the EA study, right? Yeah. If 10 years later, like now when I talk to the business leader, like the last 2 years, especially last year when I have been more free, I'm not working for a corporate now, I spend a lot of time talking to a business leader, the time to market even faster. It's much, much faster. I think just now the Q&A has a lot of questions asking about, I'm a small organization, and then I want EA, but how to do EA? EA give an impression is a very big project, it's a very big commitment, very big investment, need a long time to do. So 10 years later, I think we need a more lightweight type of EA framework, right? So I myself actually designed some kind of framework, to conduct the business visioning workshop, digital business visioning workshop. And my personal experience is we have to start with the business architecture first. Once we get the business architecture correct, and some of the digital tool can be outsourced. It can be commoditized. You can buy actually from the market. You don't need to do the in-house development, right? So that is my own experience, 10 years ago and 10 years later.
Right, thank you so much, Dr. Kong. I think your last sentence is the highlight of the different, right? Because I remember that I grew up in the Java world. I think 25 years ago, right? You know Java, you are the king. People worship you, trust me. Okay, I got the phone headhunter calling me every other day because I was one of the few earliest certified Java programmer back then. After that, got Java architects. But I think now, who cares, right? You got all the technical knowledge. You need to understand the business and how you apply a technology for the business. Right. Now let's move on to Dave. Right, Dave, can you please share with us on the impact of enterprise architecture role, right, in architecting digital business strategy? Okay, so now it's like many people said, oh, architect must be level 500 technical, but now we are talking about architecting digital business strategy. That 3 words, digital business strategy, is like, wow, if you don't get the clue, you don't know what it is all about. Okay, and what sort of quality do you think enterprise architect role today, right, have in driving successful digital transformation?
Yeah.
Aaron.
As I've mentioned earlier, EA role is very important, but it's different as a solution system architect or Java architect you guys just mentioned. They mainly only focus on projects, and enterprise architecture is a party who can think out of the projects, but instead we are thinking on a more high level, aligning the IT and the business strategy. with using some frameworks. And of course, nowadays, we talk about the digital strategy of a company. We, as EA role, we should heavily involve into the digital strategy formulation. And EA should have the sort of a communication channel with the senior management for sure, because you need to getting involved into the digital strategy. And when talking about with the business, you guys need to work together as we call the center of excellence, or a working group or task force, something like that. Just like my company, 3 years ago, we have already started the digital transformation journey. We focus on the digital infrastructure modernization, but and sometimes talking about the big data analytics, the foundation, digital workplace, and collaboration, those stuffs. But with the pandemic comes, we started another 5 years journey immediately on building the virtual event platform that is beneficial to our business, and building the AI capability, customer experience, marketing automation, and data-driven workforce and workplace. And all of them are driven by the EA, and EA should drive these initiatives from the strategy into some building blocks, so that digital projects could follow and standardize. That's my view. Aaron?
Sorry. Yep, I'm always muted. So thank you so much, Dave. I think, yeah, we understood the importance of a business to drive the architecture. Okay, not the other way around. Right. So now over to Malik. So can you please share with us on your thought on how CIO in this pandemic era should do differently than CIO role says 2 years ago? So now we're getting shorter and shorter. We are not talking about 10 years, right? So in like 2019, early 2019, everyone's still kang ho, enjoying life, don't need to wear masks. Everybody can just meet anybody, right? So business as usual. Suddenly pandemic strike. I think the first blow, I think sometime in March, right, last year, that all the countries locked down. February still okay. I think can travel, etc. We know about the COVID-19, but who cares, right? We don't know the impact until March lockdown until today. We thought that only 6 months. Now already almost 2 years. It still haven't ended yet. So and we still need to survive. Life still have to go on, right? So what do you think the CIO say 2 years ago in terms of their perspective, attitudes towards the transformation, and today?
You know what, the key difference, sorry if I cut you there. I would say it's the sense of urgency. Before the pandemic even became a word that everybody knew, all of us would say, hey, you know what, we want to do this special project. Okay, you have 3 months or 4 months to figure it out, implement, work on adoption, train all the all the employees to use it before even adopting to the customer. You have that time, you have that luxury. But when suddenly pandemic came, everything had to change from months to literally days. Similar to all my peers' experience. We had projects that literally that would normally take 3 months, had to go live in 5 days. You have no choice, my friend. You got to go live in 5 days, right? We had customers who overnight adopted digital technologies. I mean, can you imagine? People didn't used to go around scanning QR, knew how to use the button. Majority of people in Malaysia, didn't even scan a QR code ever in their life. Suddenly they're doing that as part of their daily routine, right? So we have to adopt, okay, they're doing that. Can we give them other information? Can we put another QR code, get them scanned, give them promotional information? And all of that, I want it tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And, okay, we never had video conferencing. We got 500 people working from home. Get them connected and communicated. All right, let's do it. And I would like it by tomorrow. So that sense of urgency to digitize, right? I think this happened literally overnight. I think that's a very good saying. The 10 years of digital transformation, the journey that normally people would take, because of pandemic, happened within a year.
Yes, that's I think amazing, right? That's why if you
amazing.
don't know about architecture, it's very hard to transform. You just headless chicken. You don't know, because once you change something, transform something, it will break 10 other parts. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a lot more hair. 2 years back, I have hair right now. I'm sure a lot of my peers are in the same boat.
All right, thank you. So the rest of the audience, please type in the Q&A. So I will not be asking the four panelists on my so-called pre-prepared question. So please type in anything that you want to ask. So they got a perspective from Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. So we got a balance up the audience here. So yeah, so please type in the Q&A session if you have any question. So let's move on into the next second question for Dr. Kwong. Can you share your insight, best practices in managing the business technology domain, right? In particular, how to address the typical challenges faced by organizations in establishing digital cultures in time of high uncertainty. I think just now, just to comment from Malik, like last time we can wait 5 months, now we can only wait maybe 5 days or 5 hours. Okay, no time, no extension.
Well, 5 hours.
Yes. All right, over to you, Dr. Kong.
Okay, so you're talking about a digital culture, right? So just now my presentation, the last few slides, I have that journey, right? So beside the business visioning and all this, I think most importantly is really the training, right? The skill upgrade, right? Yeah, to train the people. So your question also related to the business technology, right? Now the business technology architect interface with the business leader and the business user, right? Yeah, there are two types of business user, right? One is really digital native, right? So they are the younger generation. They are on mobile app all the time, you know. So you know they know what they want. They even think that they can run some of this digitization work, you know, or digital transformation work without any one of us. Whether EA or not, does not matter. They know how to run it. But there are the other type that they may not have a good knowledge about the digital tool, the digital skill set. I think in Singapore we are doing very well. I think government spend a lot of money, a lot of program, training the workforce, right? Yeah. When I was in NTUC actually one of the key initiatives is really, working with the union to train the worker to be digital savvy, right? Even Singapore Computer Society, we have a lot of programs, right? The digital skill, the skill that the individual ought to be equipped, right? So training is a very important component, right? Yeah. But my interaction with the business leader, they also so-called complain. I send my people for the training, but then the solution are not ready for them to use. So they may went for the training 1 year ago. When they come back, they've forgotten what they have learned. Like some of the business leaders say that business analytics is very important. I send them to the training, under government grant training, but then 1 year later, the solution come. So when the solution comes, they've forgotten what they have learned, right? So in my opinion, a good business architecture, initiative, support with a very good application and the rest of the architecture, initiative, and with a very good implementation plan, we know when to send the worker for the training. When they come back, they have a solution ready for them to use, right? RPA is another very good example. I have people that I have workers that went for RPA training, but they come back, they have nothing to use, right? So we need to synchronize some of this activity, and to me, the EA blueprint is a very good management tool to help the leader to prioritize and synchronize all these activities.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Kwong, for the highlight. I think the importance of having people equipped with the right skill, right? Because if you are not equipped with the right skill, you might be doing it maybe the 10th time to get it right. The 10 times you can't wait, right? So after one time, maybe 3 months. So by the time 10 time already 3 years, right? And get it right finally. So that one is I think they got many story, that if people are not equipped, then you can't do the job. Even like, I watched the soccer. I don't know whether you watched the soccer in the YouTube, that 3 Japanese soccer with 100 junior soccer, 100 of them, right, in the field, and the 3 can score the goal. The 100 keep chasing the ball. So it's like that, right? The life is that if you don't have the information at hand, you don't have the right skill set, then you'll be struggling. All right. So let's move on to Dave. Dave, can you share with us on how do we, as enterprise architect practitioners, be able to recognize and identify problem as the opportunity for digitalization, especially in time of today? because many people are complaining, right? Complain about everything, okay? About government, about the rule, about everything, about their bosses, their company, everything. But actually, as an architect, we should see this as an opportunity, right? Over to you, Dave.
Yeah, I think EA practitioners have a good sense of about the digital EA map, and also the roadmap, the baseline, and the target architecture, something like that. In the times of high uncertainty, as Malik mentioned, projects have become very ad hoc. And in the normal days, it could be a year or 2 years long, but nowadays we are talking about 3 to 6 months or even hours. So EA practitioners in the past giving an image that they are good at leading or designing large-scale projects, but not digital apps. So I think I agree with Dr. Kwong to have a more lightweight EA framework so that we can move faster. Actually, digital apps are usually running agile methodology. When you're talking about Scrum, EA do not have a clear role. I'm not sure any Scrum had a very clear role on EA, but when I come across, I don't have a very clear picture on the EA, on the agile role. But anyway, EA can actually participate into the agile project, right? We can define the minimal very viable architecture. That's like MVA. In the Scrum, we have MVP, right? But we can also have an MVA, so that when the product team defines their MVP, we still have certain governance become the important element when we are moving too fast, right? So, and of course, they are moving too fast, too agile, chaotic, and so many SaaS services coming up. And EA could then be able to identify some common services, identify the integration points, security, because we are moving too fast. Security is an issue, and technology standard. So we could come up a better digital EA roadmap and architecture design. That's my view.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. I think, yeah, just now also mentioned by Dr. Is that, we need to really, EA need to take a so-called a pragmatic approach, right? We need to be so-called looking at the situation and grab or seize any issue as an opportunity rather than just following the rest and keep complaining. You never, when you get a problem, an opportunity is there in front of you, right? So you, enterprise architect with all the knowledge of the business, data, application, and how the thing are interdependency, and we understand the impact, we should be able to assist or advise and perhaps propose a solution. All right, Malik, to you, what is your view on how important for CIO today, right? Especially like in your role itself, or maybe your other within your CIO chapters, right? How CIO should leverage on the enterprise architecture team to give them the insight, right? So that you can make a so-called a strategic technology decision. Especially today is that the decision need to be made very, very quickly, right? Like it's in weeks or days, right? And the amount of the investment could be a big sum, right? So how architecture information or data itself can help senior management to make a right decision? Over to you, Malik.
Let me answer the question this way. Not everyone actually has an architecture team, right? You may have a person or two persons who is more aware of the entire architecture of the landscape of a company, right? So when I talked to a lot of the CIOs, the sense that I got was those who are more aware, or they have a 2-3 person, or even a formal practice of an enterprise architecture team, they were better prepared, right? To actually say, okay, to change, to pivot quickly, or to implement quick technologies to solve a particular business problem. But did not have a handle on it. They were struggling, right? And they would say, you know what, I don't really know if I can do this, or do I do something? And many times, in a lot of companies, CIOs are a bit shy to actually admit that they do have a problem, right? Because normally the bosses always expect the CIO to know everything, right? You're the guy who's supposed to know everything, and if you don't know, we'll ask you. And your job is to figure it out, right? So those who can leverage, you're definitely at a winning goal. Like one example we had was when we had 500 people had to immediately next day have to work from home. We had to deploy two-factor authentication, talking to your architecture team or talking to the network team quickly, saying, how can we do this without spending any money? We actually spend zero money to get two-factor going online. We use a lot of services which is freely available, And I think being aware of the architecture, see how flexible it is, you can actually move very, very quickly. Not having that, you will struggle, but not to say you cannot survive, you can survive, but just it's harder. That's all.
Yeah, thank you so much, I think Malik. I think this is aligned with what people asking me. What's the difference that I have architecture and I don't have architecture? Business as usual. Yes, it is, right? But when you get the problem, those who have architecture, they can resolve it in the hours. Those who don't, take weeks or months, okay, or maybe years. That's the difference, really.
Exactly. When we first started off in my IT line, right, my life, right, it was the same. We started doing it, on piece of paper. We didn't have a formal practice. But now we are larger, we must put in a formal practice. There's a big difference.
Yes, definitely. Okay, now I want to take a question from the audience, right? So, okay, the first question is from TK. Be a business architect, must that role has a business domain knowledge to be effective on the digital transformation? If yes, what else skill or other skill need to have? All right, so I just let it open anyone, Dr. Kwong or Dave, to say that basically as a business architect, yes. I think you read the question, right? Okay, over to you, Malik.
So my personal view on that, you are a better CIO if you have, I would say, the domain knowledge. Right? If I, like for example, I'm in retail, I'm actually very passionate about retail, and you make you a better IT person for the organization because you will address the business needs. You will probably learn more about retail. You see the challenges, the customer challenges, and you will adopt. But saying that, do you really need it to solve IT specific problems? Maybe not, but it would be a big plus if you do. Right? That's the answer.
Yep. Thank you. Dave, you want to add something?
Yeah, yes, for me, I think I agree. Digital transformation requires not only making existing process more efficient, but creating unlocking some new values for the customer. So business architect should have the sort of basic business domain knowledge so that it could be play a more important role on the process automation and also especially on the user experience. That is the major focus.
Right. Dr. Kong, you want to add something?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Actually, the business domain is important, but actually may not be essential. Because the way that I look at the business architect, as I said, I'm not the architect, but I am the so-called the user. I use the business architecture. I'm architect to help me to transform the business. Right. A good architect, a good business architect, they must be able to facilitate the business decision. They must be able to let the business go and say what they want to say, and yet steer the discussion, to meet the goal, to meet the objective of the discussion, right? Yeah. So I see a good business architect as a facilitator. I have seen very good business architect, they apply design thinking. Okay. The other one is like this. I can share my own personal experience. I started as a technical person, like Aaron. You do Java. I even worse. I do Fortran COBOL programming, right? So technical people like us, we are bottom up. We see detail, then we see big picture. But the leader actually they see big picture. They don't see detail yet. So if a business, just how in my presentation slide I say that different domain use different architect, but sometimes we use the technical architect go and talk to the business. So then the alignment, the expectation all haywire because the business leader or the business user, they see big picture, but we are talking about the detail. So the alignment is not there, so make the whole conversation very, very painful. But of course, a good business architect with the right domain, our life is very simple. We don't need to do anything. Our boss will give us a promotion and a bonus, a good performance bonus.
Hey, thank you so much,
I
Dr. Kong, for
wish.
the the last sentence, right? Because yeah, I mean, I experienced that myself. It's like is that you need to know how do you present yourself, because architect need to have a good communicator. Sometimes if you talk too much technical jargon, right? People said, "Are you talking a human language?" Right? Of course, my joke or sarcastic way said, "Don't talk SML to me." Okay, please speak human language. I don't know
Yes.
what you're talking about.
Yes, I have session that my business user walk out of the session because they are talking about architecture principle lah, right?
VIP.
And then all this what architecture description language lah, right? I mean they give a tutorial and my users just one by one go washroom and then never come back. Okay?
Yes,
Or after
yes.
tea break never come back. They politely, leave the whole session, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at least they stay for the tea break, eat first, and then leave, right? So, of course,
Yeah.
the other thing is like the message is that you can think technical, right? But speak and write business. That's
Yes.
very, very important for every architect, right? Regardless of the business, information, data, software, application, and infra. All right,
Yes.
let's move on into the next question. I just pick up from the audience again, right? Agree with Mrs. Kwong, right? So how to overcome challenges the same person have to do architect and also have as an implementer? I think this one is talking about, does the architect need to be both practitioners, you define the architecture and also you park inside the project? I think that will be the question. Over to
Okay,
you.
I am not sure whether okay, I have come across good architect. They know how to change the mind map. Okay, so when to me the whole EA is about is about concept, right? It's a concept blueprint, right? But come to implementation, required different kind of mind map. And honestly, in my career life, I have come across very good architect. They know how to change the mind map. So when they talk conceptual, they are at the conceptual layer. So what's conceptual layer? Actually, it's a why and the what, not the how. But they can change their mind, I think, Aaron, you're one of them. Huh? You can talk conceptual, you can talk about why and what, but you can also go on to do the how. So if a person can compartmental your mind map into into why, what, which is conceptual level, then go on to the implementation, you need to go on to the how. But honestly, some of us don't have the patience for the how. Okay, I'm one of
Right.
those. Yeah, I'm one of those. Okay, I don't have the patience for the how. Then I need to work with other people to do the implementation, right? Yeah, but I have come across good architect. They can do these three segment very very nice, and they know how to change their mind map accordingly.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dave and Malik, you want to add something?
No, to be honest, Dr. Pong, very, very well put. It's exactly like that, right? So in most cases, business users are not really interested in the how. IT people, we want to tell them the how because they're so passionate about it, right? But business users are not. And if you can speak business language, it makes a big difference. Right? Totally
Yes,
agree.
Dave?
Yeah, I agree. Certainly. I always said we need IT people with business sense, while at the same time we need business people with IT sense. So
True.
yeah, so
Really.
I think as you guys mentioned, we same as Hong Kong, we are more focusing on the technical. We seldom speak, just like my developers and also the development team. They don't speak during work. Just type, okay. Especially now during the COVID, and they don't even speak a word on the whole day. So I think we really need more training on that, and especially the culture to let them speak more, and so they can be more proactive and outgoing to the business side.
Yeah, I think just to add into a comment, basically, I think the question is asking about, should the architect also involved in the project implementation? The answer, it depends. Okay, it depends whether you have what it takes to get involved into the ground. Because when you go into the ground, if you don't have the necessary skill, you'll be shot by engineer, right? They got all the data scientists, system engineer, software engineer. They're going to shoot you, right? You're talking about what? You're talking about 10,000 feet, and we are now on the ground, right? So that's why the architect itself, they got actually, just now we were talking about business architect, information architect, software architect, infrastructure architect, and this is what they call it solution architect. So solution architect is the role that you need to be equipped with all the domain of architect, and you also have the knowledge on the practicality. right? How to implement data warehouse, how to implement artificial intelligence or machine learning, etc. in the practical way. Okay, so that's in short. So let's just move on into the concluding so-called question, right? For every one of you, I think it's the same question, but I just want to ask perspective from Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. Okay, just 3 countries. I think these 3 countries can represent how many countries in the world? 200 plus? Can represent the whole country in the world. Right? Somewhat there, the problem, same, right? So the question is this: what do you see today on the trend and culture of digital business transformation? Okay, and what do you think business and technology could do more together? Of course, not as a separate way. Okay, so over to you, whoever ready.
I let the gentleman go first. Yeah.
We obviously
The lady have the last say. The lady have the last say. Okay.
Okay, Malik, you go first.
Okay, sure. Well, my personal opinion on that is that it's changing, right? It's changing. Now the businesses have to be more ready for it. It wasn't the priority. Now it's become a priority. And in most countries, I think all of us are working towards the same thing. So slowly, I think it's really changing. And that's my key.
Right. So basically, we need to embrace change, right? Because if we don't embrace change, somebody changes us. When somebody changes us, we totally don't like it. Trust me. You don't like someone tell you, Aaron, sorry, I need to talk to you privately, and you drink cold water, not nice.
I mean, there's one thing that I do want to say that although you're changing, do not go after what is shiny, bright, and super cool out there, because not everybody can do it. I guess go back, look at your business fundamentals, where you're generating revenue, how, what is the impact, and see if you can make it better. Many a times you do not need technology to solve the problem. You can even just use a piece of paper to solve that problem.
Right. Yes.
So going back fundamentals, I think is very, very important. If not, business usually will come, this guy can do this guy can do that. Everybody can do everything today.
All right. I think in this context, like sexy is not important. Just get it whatever practical and work, right?
Yeah.
That's not the problem. All right, thank you. Dave, you want to
I think nowadays every organization is digital organization. Not only the big enterprises, but goes for the digital business, but also SME or SMBs in Hong Kong. They are all going to digital transformation journey, and digital projects are getting more demanding and agility, as I mentioned earlier, adaptive to changes, becoming the norm and the culture. So I think EA should start to think about what are the roles in the digital transformation, and I could see that the AI, data analytics, fintech, and digital payments, something like that in Hong Kong would be the trend and something we could put more focus on. And in Hong Kong, we need more IT people who come with the business sense, as I mentioned, and we are lacking of technology people, and organization need to pay more effort in retaining the staff with digital skills, especially nowadays in Hong Kong. We are experiencing a lot of people moving out, and we need more trainings and also emotional help during the COVID, as we have working too long and without the vacation. So yeah, that's my view.
Yes. And then I think I saw last night, right? 2 days ago, all the live concert, Hong Kong, Macau, China. Wow. All the main actors in Hong Kong don't go anywhere. They stay in Hong Kong and in their place, basically, doing a concert together. Interesting. All right, Dr. Kwong, over to you.
Okay, I have the last say, right? Okay, so I make it short because I saw the poster. Okay, I think most importantly, the business and IT need to work together. We need to have a common language and common mind map and common framework and common methodology. So now EA, okay, may not be the entire EA domain. Maybe the AA, the IA, and the TA should not be introduced to the business side, right? But the BA should be a common language, right? And now the School of Computing, the computer science school are teaching EA, right? What I wish to see is the business school would pick up BA as a curriculum and teach the business side. Be it MBA, be it even the Bachelor of BA. because this is common tool that it will bridge the business and IT together and make the transformation journey faster. Yeah, that is
Thank you so much, Dr. Koh. I think that one is the concluding statement as is powerful, right? Because I think you heard from my earlier presentation that every architect, regardless you are business, infra, software, solution, etc., you need to be able to perform the role of business architect. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, you don't call yourself as an architect. You might call it the principal, senior, or senior principal, data scientist, senior principal, software engineer, whatever name you like to call it, but don't mention the word architects. Right? I think thank you so much all the esteemed panelists for the participation. I think we still halfway. We still go all the way until 5:30. So I think I will hand over back to Alicia.